Whenever you're ready. There we go.
Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
Nice actually hearing that for real last night.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I don't know, did you guys catch any of the game?
I didn't get to watch any of the game. I had to keep looking through to get as many highlights as I could. Just couldn't figure out how to get it out here.
It was on the NJD.TV.
Yeah, I was
site.
having problems with it.
Were you?
Yeah.
The Montreal game you couldn't get for some reason. We weren't able to see that. Were you able to get that game in Lithuania, Tone, or any of them?
I just saw the highlights, but I probably could have got it on that app I sent you for the that you saw the football one on. It's probably on there most likely.
Yeah, I know that. I know that the Montreal game I think was only being shown on I guess TSN or whatever, the Canadian market. Like we didn't have it at all. But I did watch.
I saw some people posting their double monitors, had both games on. I was pretty jealous of that. Yeah,
yeah, I wasn't able to do that.
What they did to pull that off? That's great.
I'll tell you though.
Looked good yesterday, didn't he?
Who did?
McLeod looked good yesterday. With the highlights
he was on the he was at the Philly game. That was the one I watched most of. My computer started dying, so I was like, you know what, I was like half asleep, so I just turned it off. But holy shit, 6-0. I mean, and that game was, I think, like the 5 or 6 minutes in was 4-0 already. Yeah, 4-0. I mean, they were just. I mean, we can go over some of the numbers on this split squad. I'm so excited for Thursday night though against the Rangers. So
it's 7:00 game, right?
I think it is
7. Yes,
it is. So we had game 1, Montreal, New Jersey 4, Montreal 2. Jack had a huge night, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points, 5 shots on goal. This kid, Gambardella, that we were talking about, that was mixed up with the forwards and the defensemen on the different squads. He had a goal. Dawson Mercer with a goal and 3 shots on goal. Simon Nemec scores with 3 shots. Well, that was the other game.
Yeah.
There's the Montreal game. The Graham Clark had 5 shots on goal, too. He didn't score in that Montreal game, but 5 shots. And as of our 4 goaltenders so far, Cory Schneider has the worst numbers with a save percentage of 8.89. He had 2 goals against, right, and 16 saves on 18 shots, and he had an assist. So I think that kind of works itself out. Kincaid came in, 7 saves, 7 assists.
He got injured, right?
7 saves, 7 shots.
Kincaid's hurt.
Did he get hurt?
He got fucking hurt.
Schmidt had to come back in for the third.
I was wondering why he only had seven shots on him. I thought either they locked it down big time or he only had a little bit of time. So what did he come in halfway through the second?
Halfway through the third.
Third, yeah.
No, I mean Kincaid.
He started the third.
He started the third.
Yeah, Kira got the first 2 periods, and then he only played for a few minutes, half the period, whatever it was. He got steamrolled. Then they had to bring Schmidt back in.
And then the other game against Philly, I mean, that was just a freaking rout. I mean, we'll go over some of these numbers, and they were all our guys. Like everyone they were our boys that showed up, right? Hala, goal and assist, 2 points. Timo, a goal, assist, 4 shots on goal. Alex Holtz, really nice goal from Bratt. And Brad had 3 assists. Taze Thompson a goal. Andre Palat a goal with 3 shots. Michael McLeod a goal. Nico Hischier 6 shots on goal and the assist. Vanacek 11 for 11, and Eric Algren 10 for 10 with the 6-0 shutout. But man, that was so much fun to see. I was like I said, I got to see a little bit of Algren in there. He looked all right. All our goaltending looked all right. But any takeaways from just just a very small sample size, 2 split squad games yesterday? What do you guys?
There's a ton of takeaways from this. Like you said, first of all, I mean, everything we wanted to happen probably happened for the most part. With the exception of an injury, just seeing the people that stepped up, the people that scored. all those names that you want to hear. I mean, I would have, maybe liked to see Toffoli, but you can't win them all, right? And just every storyline between, Mikey McLeod's hands just staying through from last year, our big guys coming through and scoring. What I like is that it's preseason game number, 1A and 1B, but I don't care. Like, this is now a championship team. This is what I want to see in the preseason. I want them to come out. I want them to dominate or play their best game. I don't want any of this, we're warming up. Let's see what we can do. Put the league on notice and just keep going.
What they did, that's what they should do. Just go and steamroll people. That's it. How about you, Tone? What's your takeaways?
Unfortunately, I just saw the highlights because I did sleep last night. But no, I mean, the highlights look great. I mean, it was like, I actually couldn't believe that they scored 4 goals in that. What was the time? Like
6 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes.
Ridiculous time.
It was crazy. I'm like, holy shit, another one. But I do have one complaint about the broadcast, but I'll get to that in a minute. But go ahead.
I think the thing is, what makes me happy is for all the podcasts, I guess, and all the Devils podcasts and everybody else, because we have something to fucking talk about. Because, it's not just about a chart this is what everybody's been stuck with. Now we got some hockey to talk about. And I mean, Jack Hughes already, you're watching the highlights. You just get so excited for opening night, which, Bobby, you're going to be there.
Of course.
So Bobby will be the sticker guy, everybody. If you want a sticker, find Bobby.
Find the pucker.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know who impressed me the most? And like I said, I only saw the one game a little bit, and not even all of it. So Bratt impressed me the most. He was all over the place, and he was dishing pucks left and right. The first 2 goals, I think, were Palat and Holtz, and he assisted on both of them with beautiful assists. Palat's goal, that was, for me, that was a huge takeaway.
Did Nemitz have a goal last night?
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy bounce off the boards.
Yeah.
Nemitz
that crazy bounce from behind.
And the younger guys that you want to see, like we said, Nemitz with a goal, Graham Clark with 5 shots on goal. That's huge. And Alex Holtz looking like he belonged. He was skating his ass off. He looked like he belonged on this team. So that's encouraging. And the other encouraging was all 4 of our goaltenders. I mean, I know that it's preseason, but this is exactly what you want to see. Dominate. You don't want to go into preseason and you pick up bad habits and things rolling into the regular season. Next thing you know, you're 15 games in and you're just starting to kind of get traction. No, you want to be able to just house people in the preseason and roll into the regular season and just keep on doing it, because we said it a million times. A good start is imperative to this team's success this year, to any team in the NHL.
It's in the team's head, too. They have come out and said it. We had a great start last year, and it translated to the regular season. So in their minds, they're just trying to follow that same blueprint. Not that you couldn't overcome it if you didn't, but it makes it that much easier if they come out of this thing, regardless of the record, just playing the way they know they can play, propelling you into the regular season. It's going to do everything for their confidence.
I mean, it really was so awesome to see, like, our guys actually out there. No more prospect tournaments and shit like that, and the people you never hear of. No, these were our dudes, and they all friggin' performed.
And the excitement is what got me, because like I said, I couldn't watch it live, but I was constantly, like, on Twitter and social media just looking for the highlights. Like, I would see that they scored, but then they wouldn't put the video up for like a couple minutes, and I'm basically going crazy too, because I'm looking at 2 games at the same time. But the way all the analysts and reporters were describing the things that our guys were doing, which is why they're reporters and analysts, right? They got the real gift to mention, to describe it. But it was fantastic to read the excitement level from everybody and the way Jack kind of cut through the crowd and made that silky little pass. Like, it wasn't just, Jack to Bratt. It was at Mercer.
Yeah, Jack and Bratt weren't even on the same team.
Yeah, Mercer. But it was silky. You know what I mean? It was nasty. Yeah.
That's
a very long pass.
Fucking assists from Montreal to New Jersey. It was fun. I do have one major complaint over there, because I was watching it on NJD TV or whatever, right? So after every goal, they would the game would start and they would plop the, profile of the goal scorer up on screen. So it'd be like Andre Palat, and they'd keep it there for like 30 seconds while the game's going on.
You can't see the action behind
it. I hear the fucking game, but I can't see it. I'm staring at a picture of Andre Palat, and the way they were scoring, especially in the first period, I'm like, I'm going to miss like 5 goals in this matter of like 40 seconds. And they did it after every goal. It was really pissing me off. Like, and that like Lachlan and whoever else was calling the game, they didn't know it was even up there because they just kept calling the game, so whoever was in the production truck just threw it up there. I know it's preseason, but that annoyed the shit out of me. Right. Most people are not tuning into preseason that have never, heard of the Devils before or want to get to know who these players are. We know who they are. Yeah. Just show the game.
And me and Chris are looking forward to hockey season very much because our football season has been.
It's kind of like how you guys were with baseball right after, April, I guess. It's kind of how I feel. Yeah. I mean, look, me and Eric Holland need to get together and have a beer and commiserate over the Minnesota Vikings because I know he's a big fan. It was brutal on Sunday, man. Kevin O'Connell, I know you know a lot more about football than me, but I'm just going to say 3 words to you. Clock the ball. Just fucking clock it and take your time and don't rush up for the game-winning 4th down play with no time left. It just and you and your Raiders just
Raiders need to get rid of McDaniels, man. They need to Hunter Renfrow again. Nothing. I just don't get it. Garoppolo, he's in concussion protocol, so I'm hoping that they actually put in Aiden in there. Give a little put the backup in, man, because Garoppolo's
Carr's out too.
Yeah.
See that?
I was glad, though, that he didn't get, I really thought, because they thought Carr was pretty fucked up. They said he put really...
What is the prognosis?
I think he just has a sprain in his shoulder, but they thought it was worse than that at first because they took him to the hospital. But, yeah, so he's going to be out week to week is what they're saying with Carr. But the Raiders, with Garoppolo, man, I don't know, dude. Are you a Garoppolo guy? I mean, he wins, but sometimes.
I think that Garoppolo and guys like Brock Purdy are they benefit from the system in San Francisco. I mean, I know that we don't want to get too in the weeds on football, but they do benefit from that because the way that that team is made and the way that they have playmakers all over. So as long as you stay within the system and you get the ball to those guys, you're going to be successful. So do I think Jimmy Garoppolo can throw a team on his back and, take them far? I don't know. I just don't know. We haven't seen enough between him not being. Well, I think that there might be something there where I think a guy like Derek Carr can do that. But the problem with Carr is he also can't settle down sometimes. He's way, it's all go all the time and he makes mistakes. And I think Garoppolo's all right. I like Garoppolo. And like I said, now's the time, though. How are you going to do outside of that San Francisco system? And Josh McDaniels has not proven to be a good coach. But there were a couple of things on Sunday that blew my mind, like the motherfucking Dolphins scoring 70.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you go for those points? No, I think what they needed 2 points to set the record for highest points scored, right?
Oh, is that right? Okay, I didn't.
And from what I heard, and like I said, I could be incorrect, that they had the ball, they could have scored, but they just didn't do it. If it's a record, I go for it, though. If it's a record, I go for it. Not to humiliate.
Then again, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I just say, well, we score 72 next week. At this point, you know what I mean? But if you have
I can see if it's 50-7, you're like, okay, I'm not going to run up the score. But if they say to you 1 more point and you're setting a record, it's kind of like, you know what?
I get it. I mean, it's always nice to get that record, but at the same time, you don't want to keep on piling on. A win's a win, and they made Denver look stupid, and I like that. They made Denver look stupid.
That's the nice thing about being a Raider fan. You don't ever have to worry about that.
And even the Vikings. We hate Sean Payton, from when he was coaching New Orleans. But so that was nice to see. That was shocking to me. The other thing this week that was shocking was Arizona beating Dallas. Like, where the hell did that come from? Dallas looked like world beaters the first 2 weeks. And they shit the bed against, what the hell's the quarterback's name? Exactly, right? Josh Dobbs, right? Is that him? Joshua Dobbs is your quarterback? So, so football is, after I haven't even put the NFL Network on, I haven't listened to anything. No. I was so disgusted after last week.
I had trouble putting his hat on.
So that was rough. But all in all, no matter what the Raiders do, what the Vikings do, whatever football team you fucking root for, Bobby, doesn't matter because the Devils looked so fucking good yesterday. All around. It was awesome to freaking see. I am so psyched about it. So,
and what Bobby other news? Brought something up early about the Devils. Bobby, do you want to mention Cory retiring?
Yeah, Cory Schneider calling it a day. He's packing it up. He's retiring. We talked about this on the show. Maybe we got some mixed opinions on how good he was, but I'm one of the people who honestly believes that, boy, he had a hell of a job to step into after Brodeur. And I think one of the shows I mentioned, his stats, he backed it up the first few years before he got hurt. He was an elite goaltender in this league
We were
on
all
a
excited
shitty
when he
team.
got there, right? You had to be excited at first.
I wasn't excited the way he got there because Brodeur was still here. So it was weird to me that
Yeah.
draft day when they announced it. I was like, it just didn't feel right to me. But knowing that we had him as a successor, I was well, into what he can do because I was all into fantasy back then. I knew his stats inside and out. And the guy really did do for us what he was said he can do. It's just unfortunate that he got hurt and then we sucked for a decade. But he deserves his due. He was a great goaltender in this league for a while.
So he finally hung it up, huh?
Yeah.
He's retiring. I wasn't as big of a fan of Cory Schneider as you were. I like you said, the time when he played well, he played very well. But, after the injury, just whatever wasn't right with his head. He couldn't get it back. And you look at
I was
that
surprised he
playoff-
stuck along I'm surprised he stuck around as long as he did, going up and down, with the Islanders and everything.
Lou loved him, and if you're a Lou guy,
Loyalty.
he's going to take care of you. Yeah. So
It's also got to be hard. You're mid-30s and people are telling you can't do shit anymore, or your body's telling you. You look at our age. Obviously, we're not athletes. Very obvious there. But I mean,
crazy, right?
to think at 35, people are saying you're kind of done. And I don't know if people were saying it. He probably also knew his own skill set. But that's got to be hard to grapple with.
I mean,
really
you
hard.
look. I hate to go back to football, but if you're a linebacker or someone, you're 29. It's like, oh, this guy's on the downward
Yeah.
swing. He's a cornerback. He's 29. How many years does he have? Like, you're 29.
I think baseball's gotten like that too, actually, now.
Yeah. And the thing is, these people who make it to this level, for the most part, are the ones that, start very before you can walk, you're on skates kind of thing. Not everybody. There are kids who start late and can blossom real quick. But you're talking about something you do like every day, your whole life for a very long time, and then it's just like it's over.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be like Steven Stamkos going to play in a men's league after this. Like, you're just going to dominate. It's just weird.
What do you think's going to
mad.
happen with Steven Stamkos in Tampa?
Yeah,
I
that's a
mean,
good question.
I think he'll stay there. I don't know. I think he's like
he has to stay there.
has
Right?
to
Like,
stay
Tampa
there. He's
can't
just
get
that
rid
guy.
of
They gotta
Steven
find
Stamkos.
I'll tell you.
Then again, we got rid of Brodeur, so you never know.
We've met Steven Stamkos several times. He's the nut, dude. That guy is so nice. Like, he is just a nice guy. The town loves him. The city just loves Stamkos. It's it's a shame that it gets this, but now this is just the way it goes. No matter how much you love a player, they get assaulted a little bit, and then they come out and say it usually, and it seems to be the way it goes with everybody now.
Yeah, well, it's always been that way. No matter what, the business side always does catch up to it.
Yeah.
And, it comes a time where, no matter how great you've been for whatever organization you play for, there just comes a time where an ownership and GMs have to look at it and say, it's time to cut the cord. We can't give you what you want,
I think
And
Jeter even happened with, didn't I? think Jeter even had that going on, which is like,
I mean, when the Devils can move off of Brodeur, the guy, not just the greatest goalie that the Devils ever had, but very well arguably the greatest goalie in the history of the NHL. And you can walk away from him. It's just, that's the business. It just does come a time where, Stamkos wanted an extension before the season started. Tampa told him that they weren't going to give him the extension, and now he's got a bit of a hard on about it. So I don't know how that's going to play out.
See, there's the ego side of sports too, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but when you are a professional athlete, especially an elite one like that, there's going to be a time when your skills do, start to diminish, and you kind of owe it to be able to see that too, and maybe take a contract more reflective of that. It's like, I know me in my career, experiences everything, right? So every year you want your little merit increase, or you want whatever, and you think you're going up and up and up. Whereas an athlete, the reality is sometimes if you want to stick around, you got to take less to do that.
Yeah.
It just fits with your performance. But when you're on the top of the world like that, that's also got to be a very difficult thing. And you got your agent telling you what they want to do, because their job is to what? Get you the most money. Period.
Yeah.
So
Get you the bag.
Another weird dynamic just to be an athlete.
But there, it is, especially in a league like the NFL or the NHL, which are salary cap leagues. There are taking that hometown discount or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's just, it helps everything involved. Like, if you're a guy coming in, I get it. Austin Matthews has got this huge contract. What's he at? 13, 14 million a year.
Yeah.
It's not like the NFL that has a $200 million cap. I know it's not that high, but my point is, it's really hard to build a team out around a winning team around a guy when they're making that much money and that cap's not going up. So, even that, like if you're like, constantly, what do they talk about when it comes to Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier? That their contracts, the national media goes on, they have the best contracts in the NHL. Yeah. And
they also signed those contracts before they blossomed into what they were going to be. So both parties knew what they were doing. Like they knew they wanted to get better. Jack wants to be the best player possible, but at the time he's like, that's a reasonable deal. And he's going to get a second contract, and so is Nico.
I mean, if somebody offered you, if you're 19 years old and you have somebody offering you $64 million, you're going to take it. I mean, you're absolutely going to take it. And Jack was not in the position to turn that money down. He really wasn't. It's not like he could have been like,
you can't say, I'm going to be a $13 million player 4 years from now. You got to take, what you are with some projection, of course.
But Tom Fitzgerald fucking knew he was going to do that. Like, Tom knew, absolutely. Like, Tom probably walked away from that going, I can't believe I just locked this kid up for 8 years at $8 million. Yeah. Like, he must have just been ear to ear grin.
You got to be able to see, you got to really be a talent evaluator, because based on what,
you got to really be Italian. You got to be Italian to know this shit,
based on what Hughes did the year before.
I bet you in meatballs.
He didn't get $8 million. He doesn't deserve $8 million from that year before. So you really...
Oh, no.
The GM also has to know maybe a year or two of this, he's overpaid in order to get to where it's going to be. But in the end, I commend all the athletes that understand and take a reasonable deal. I think they all deserve to make as much money as they can.
Absolutely.
But when you got your superstars... multiple, like on the Devils, with reasonable contracts, and then saying things at the end of the year like sign the deal, and now you got this group of guys, right, that are all right around the same amount of money. There's no huge ego trip there. They're all in that 7-8 million, 9. It's close enough, right? They just all come together to try to win. This is great.
It's really the Devils are one of the best teams to look at to actually make the point that you're trying to make, because or that you did make. If Hischier's getting 10, right, and Jack's getting 11, and Brat's getting 9, 10. Well, we don't have Meyer, and we don't have Toffoli, and we don't. There's a lot of dudes that we're not able to stick around. We don't have Palat. The fact that that's how you build the team. It really is. We've said it before. It's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the offensive. Capability of this team.
Even when I watched the highlights of the team and stuff, even was watching the highlights yesterday. Like, wow, we have so many pieces on this team. Like, say we have to make moves, right? In the next year sometime. We really are. We have some great assets on that team, man. You got really just like Tice Thompson yesterday, even. You forget about all these guys because there's all these kids, and there's just so many of them. Where before, back like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, we were like, oh, anybody you kind of knew, anybody had talent, you threw them out there. Like, okay, we got this guy or this guy. Now you have so many of them, you forget. Like, we always, like Marino, I always say, like, I know he's on the team, but whenever I talk about the big key players, I leave his name out somehow. But just by there's just so many of these dudes. It's not that I don't appreciate him. He's a great player.
I have a question for you guys. When we did the projected lines back in the summertime, and I was the only one that had Ball playing with Hamilton. Everyone else had Siegenthaler with Hamilton. And I had said at the time, I liked it there because when he did play a few games last season up with Hamilton on that first D pairing, and he played really, really well and kind of got his game together. He was moved back down with Severson after that, but he really kind of got his game going with Hamilton. He was on the first D pairing in the Philly game with Hamilton. Do you guys think that was a split squad kind of thing and we just have to, we're just kind of popping guys in? Or do you think that's something that they're maybe looking into a little bit and keeping Ball up with Hamilton, keeping Hughes with Siegenthaler, and then Hughes with Marino, and then like Siegenthaler, Miller?
It wouldn't surprise me if it's just popping in because that's how, with Ruff, that's kind of how we do it during the regular season anyway. So it's preseason. It wouldn't surprise me if it was just kind of tossing things together. Yeah. We see a lot of that, right, with this team.
Oh, yeah, totally. Defensively, not so much. But yes, forward lines, absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious if that's something that they're really interested in at least checking out.
I'll tell you what, I think that it was just kind of a split squad thing until what Ball did last night. Because from what I'm hearing, he was skating great. And looked fantastic too. So now it might be more of a, hey, let's check this out again further. But for the depth of the team overall, I can still see the defensive pairings kind of being what we said. But I could see him shifting up and down once in a while, little wrinkle.
I really like the idea of ball playing with Hamilton.
He's come so
we'll
far.
see how. Yeah,
I
mean, when you go back, I mean, there's another guy that last year really did take a while to find his legs, find his. He was constantly out of position. He was constantly making bad plays, and then it just clicked. And he picked it up. I mean, and that's the thing about Lindy Ruff. That is, I will give this man a ton of credit for when it comes to the development of these young guys. He lets them make mistakes.
He does.
He lets them fuck up. If you're a kid, if you're, a couple of years in, you're still learning. Now, when Damon Severson cost us that game last year with that terrible pass in the offensive zone that got picked off, I don't even remember who we were playing. For some reason, I think it was a Flyer game. And it got picked off, and they scored, I think it was overtime, or it was a few seconds left in the game. But anyway, it cost us the game. And he was benched the next night. Lindy Ruff would never do that with a Kevin Ball, right. A young guy. He lets them make mistakes. Now, a guy like Severson, yeah, you know better. You deserve to be benched on that. You cost us a game. But if Ball had cost us the game, he wouldn't have been benched. At least I don't think he would be. Where you got a guy like, we constantly talk about other coaches. We talk about John Tortorella, since we're on the Philadelphia thing. Tortorella doesn't, if you are not giving Tortorella whatever craziness he's asking for, you're not playing. You're not getting ice time. And Lindy Ruff lets these guys make mistakes, and I think it's been huge with these guys the last 5 years. Just seeing how they've grown. And I mean, remember Jack his first year? He looked like a little kid out there. He's getting pushed around. You saw some highlights. You saw some the kid's got some hands.
Yeah,
the
kid
can
saw
do
some little
stuff.
spurts of
little spurts, but can he put it together? And just his hard work and everything. And I tell you, I think the one aspect of his game that I think is going to go through the roof this year is his faceoffs, because it's probably the worst part of his game. And just knowing him, he's probably been working his ass off all summer.
They
long
said he has.
Faceoffs.
They said he put a lot of extra work in the faceoffs, and it was paying off last night.
I'll tell you, I'm so excited to watch this team. But we do have to just do a little shout out to football real quick, because we're back with another week of football, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. $5 any of this week's epic games, and you can walk away an instant wiener. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. Oh no, they're not. You can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Football's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code THPN. The crown is yours. All right, ready? Hang on. I got to do the disclaimers. I got to take a deep breath. Get myself ready. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. I don't know what half of the stuff I just said means.
Dude, you sound like the Micro Machine guy. I swear to God, every time you do that, that's all I fucking hear.
It's just becoming muscle memory now. He's going to start spitting that out.
Yeah, I just try and do it as quickly as possible.
Bones, Thugs, and Harmony.
But I don't know what it means. Like, on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Like, what is that? I don't understand what they have to do with DraftKings or betting on football. I just don't understand. Somebody,
they're the ones that break your legs if you don't pay the debt.
Oh, is that it? That's it. That's really. It's not a legal sports. It's just a fucking mobster book that we're reading. So that's why you should bet with Paulie. Paulie will break your fucking legs if you don't win the bet.
That's right.
Anyway, I don't know what any of that stuff means. But so any other thoughts or ideas or anything for this week coming up? We got the Rangers.
We got
Thursday.
Bill coming on, man, Saturday.
That's right. Let's give a little shout out to Bill from the Trap podcast.
Awesome.
He's going to be hopping on with us on Saturday, so we'll be able to talk some shit with him.
Whenever
be fun.
I hear the Trap, when I first heard this show, I mean, when I heard Bill, I said, "This is the kind of dude you smoke a joint with." Like, it just seems like chill. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard his show. It'd be cool to have him on. I know he's excited to be on. So
he was in Europe a couple of weeks ago. You should have got together with him. I think he was in Croatia. It was funny because I was looking at like all the downloads and stuff, and there's a spot where they could tell you all the countries, right? And I'm like, somebody downloaded us in Croatia, and then I heard that Bill was down there. I'm like, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah,
it's gonna be exciting. It's been a long time coming, trying to get us all together. So
yeah. He's a good dude. He's from our area. Grew up, real close to us. Huge Devil fan, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Do you guys want to do an immaculate grid? Or no? You feeling up to it? You're not feeling it?
Told you I got a prep for
yeah, my brain is not working.
Can we
Tony,
Google?
this is what you're good at.
No,
this is what you're good at. So let's just give it a try.
Oh.
All right. The first one is give me a player that played for both the Dallas Stars and the New York Islanders. Dallas Stars, New York Islanders.
I'm probably wrong. I want to say Dallas Drake, but I don't know. Just the name sounds like it would make too much sense. Let me see here.
Well, Dallas Drake, we know he played for, I think, Dallas, right? I don't know if he played for the Islanders.
Detroit. Let me see. I'm going to find out here. I'm probably wrong here, everybody.
Come on, there's got to be somebody Dallas and Islanders.
No, he's Winnipeg,
Winnipeg,
Detroit, and St. Louis. It's Drake.
All right. So what about Islanders Capitals?
Islanders Capitals.
Chris Simon.
Chris Simon might be at
not with the Islanders. I don't think
he wasn't.
No. Let me see. I think.
All right. Well, why don't we go to the easy ones first? Give me a Dallas Star that had 50+ assists in a season.
Mike Modano.
Mike Modano.
Wow, you got to go. It's better when you get the less
Rarer
popular
people.
ones. You get better points. So, I mean, I'll put Mike Modano in, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Mike Modano. Okay. How about a Capital with 50+ assists in a season?
A Capital?
Let's go.
Peter
Yeah.
Bondra.
Bondra.
Let's go with Bondra.
Yeah,
I like that.
Bondra, yeah.
I like that. All right. How about a what happened here? Bondra wasn't right. Bondra didn't do it.
Really?
Really?
That's a little surprising.
How about Winnipeg 50+
How about,
assists in a season?
Marcus Johansson.
For what? Dallas? For Washington?
Washington?
I don't know if I can put another one in. I can't.
Oh, okay, we're screwed.
Oh, maybe
What's
I can.
What's
Yes.
the next one now?
What do you want, Marcus Johansson?
Give it a try. Picture him.
All right, that's wrong too, Tone. You got anybody else? We only have 6 guesses left, and you gave us
Go
2
ahead,
wrong
Bobby.
ones.
Swing us something.
So should we just put Alex Ovechkin in for the 50 assists?
No, you said it has to be someone that's kind of like.
Yeah, I
under the
know,
radar.
but we got
You
2
get
of
less
them wrong,
points,
so
yeah.
at least we'll get Ovechkin in there. How about
Okay,
a Winnipeg
yeah,
player that has 50+ assists?
Solani. I guess that's too
I like
easy,
that.
right? What's
It
Solani?
doesn't matter. We're not doing so good right now. That's wrong too. Teemu Solani never had 50+ assists.
There's no way, dude. That shit's fucked up. You got there. Let me see here.
I don't know. It says he hasn't never gotten it. So we're not doing good at all with this. All
I gotta stop trying to cheat and
Immaculate
start
grid.
listening to you guys so I can actually try to answer one.
right, Bobby, give me an Islander. Give me an Islander and a Star.
Just randomly?
Well, a player that played for both.
Oh, that's right.
Islander and Star.
I gotta go back to Google now.
I wonder if we can use
gotta
Minnesota
find-
North Stars.
Islander Star.
Or we just have to stay with Dallas. I don't know.
There's no way.
I'm so bad at this.
So, dude,
Like,
there's
Yeah.
no way.
It's a Tony game.
Wait. You said what? Now, what? The team
50+
was Solani, the
assists.
Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, because he had. Let me see here.
50+
Jets,
assists
no.
in a season. He didn't
Yeah,
do
he
it.
had 50. Yes, he did. He had 56 assists in 92-93. It says with the Jets.
Okay, but let me ask you a question, and I don't know if this is true, but could they possibly be only looking at the Atlanta Thrasher / Winnipeg Jets and not the Jets before they moved and
I
came
don't know,
back?
man.
Do you know what I mean? Like, are they a new team? So I'm going to stop playing this because
Bobby,
I got to
look up-
find those things out
Bobby,
first.
look up Teemu
We got-
Solani and see what it says for YouTube. Make sure it should be like. There's no way, Teemu
Chew my
Solani.
salami.
Chew my. There's no way.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like if you did this in football, and it was a Cleveland Brown one. Can you go back to before they
That's
moved
what I was
to
wondering
Baltimore?
Too, yeah.
Like, or would that just be that's part of Baltimore now? You know, so I don't know if because maybe they're only going by the newer Jets that were Atlanta, right?
And didn't it say Peter Bondra never had 50 assists? Didn't we say that too? Let me see this.
Yeah, in Washington for Washington, no. So here's the article about Cory Schneider retiring. So 37, played in 410 games with the Devils, Canucks, and the Islanders, posted a 171, 159, and 58 record with a 2.43 goals against average and a .918 save percentage in 410 games. Not bad numbers. Just should have been playing a lot more. And he did say, quote, New Jersey was a great place for my family and I. My kids were both born there. I had some great teammates. It was a terrific place to play. Current Devil star Jack Hughes stayed with my family during the 1920 season after he was drafted number 1 overall, and I remember realizing he was actually closer in age to my son at the time than he was to me, his teammate. I'm at peace with it. I'll miss my teammates and the intensity of playing, but it's the right time for me. And among Devil goalies, Schneider ranks second in games played with 311, saves 8,023, and shutouts 17, and third in wins with 115. He trails Marty Brodeur, whom he split goalie reps with toward the end of his career in each category. And he was the Canucks' 26th overall draft selection in the 24 NHL draft. So, you know, big old props to Cory Schneider. We'll miss you, buddy.
Corey. And you know, Peter Bondra never had 50 assists.
Well, the Immaculate Grid told us that, Tony.
Yeah.
You don't believe the grid.
48 assists was the most he had. I just thought Peter Bondra had more than that for some reason.
So, no, I guess
More
not.
goals.
What are you guys expecting from this Ranger game on Thursday night? Is this going to be
some fights?
That's what I'm asking. You think it's going to be some physicality?
Yeah,
you think there's
I
going
think
to be
Ball
some
will
fights?
get in a fight. That's my prediction. That's
Who?
Ball will get in a fight.
Who will he fight?
Who did he fight last year? Gudra?
Oh, isn't Mika Zibanejad hurt?
He is, yeah.
Vazzy got hurt yesterday, I think, also.
Who did?
Vasilevsky, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Well, then Tampa's done. If Vasilevsky's out for any kind of time, they're done. But did we know any prognosis on Mika Zibanejad?
No.
It's a sprained neck from carrying all that stupid hair around.
Hey, man.
What? Mika Zibanejad's got the worst hair ever. I'm sorry. He looks like a damn idiot. I don't like him.
No, I don't know. There's a guy on the Phillies. I forget his name, but he's got long hair down, and it's completely greasy and ratty. And whatever it is, like, he does it on purpose. Like, a couple times during the game, he goes in and he puts this crap in it to make it look like that. I don't know if he doesn't like it, like, flapping around on him.
Is he a pitcher, you said?
No, he's an outfielder.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember his name because I don't care. I can't even stand looking at the uniforms.
So somebody is so vain that they have to make sure that their hair underneath their hat looks that good during a baseball game.
No, it's not that it looks good. It's the opposite. It literally makes it look like rat hair. Like it's goopy and it just
That's
looks
kind of like
it has.
Zibanejad's hair.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't understand the concept.
What kind of hair do you like, Bobby? Did he happen to wear number 33?
I don't have bad hair days.
Ryan Graves did have terrible hair as well, but I think Bobby liked it.
He had hockey hair. Kid's got hockey hair now. He's got the Jack Hughes. When we go on the ice, he puts his helmet on and he takes the back of his hair. It's not a mullet yet, right? But it's getting there. And he goes like this and just pulls it out. He's like, I got to pull out my Jack Hughes hair.
Oh boy,
Yager had the ultimate mullet.
Yager, was
back
bad.
when he was, especially with the Pens, man.
So Mika Zibanejad left Sunday's inter-team scrimmage with an undisclosed upper body injury and did not return for the remainder of practice. The team spokesman for the Rangers classified the club's number 1 center as day-to-day, while head coach Peter Laviolette could not offer any more details as the injury had just occurred when he spoke to reporters, because in hockey, you let everybody know what the injuries are anyway. Like, come on. It's the upper body. That's what they said, so that's it. So he missed just 1 regular season game over the last 3 years, and it was not due to injury. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll play on Thursday and see how that goes. But day-to-day, Mika Zibanejad. Another team that's just getting up there. Have they played yet, preseason Rangers?
No, I think they play tonight.
tonight.
They do, right?
I do
Islanders.
believe they play
Islanders,
tonight.
I got to check.
You know,
that
though,
one
I
out.
will say, as much as I hate the Rangers, can't stand them, don't think they're, just overrated, but I never forget the Rangers. Like, even though this year I'm thinking Carolina, but in the back of my head, I always have an eye on that team just because the Rangers, you just don't know.
I think
With
I
Shesterkin,
think it's going to be a
possible.
statement game. I think it is going to be an early statement game for both teams. I think they're probably going to field a few extra players of more regulars. That'd be my gut because I think they both want to win this game.
Well, I'll tell you, I think the Rangers definitely do. I mean, they got to get that,
Do
game
they still have
7
Jimmy
out of their
Vesey?
mouth. Yeah.
I actually liked Jimmy Vesey when he was a Devil. I did like him as a player.
I had a buddy of mine. I probably shouldn't say this, but he knows Vesey, and this is what he's told me, that Vesey, when he played with the Devs and then back with the Rangers, that Vesey loves a little bit of the cocaine, and he is kind of into that a little bit. He's like, bro, that dude fucking does so much coke, it's not even fun. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, I kind of like him better.
I always liked
That's what
Vesey.
I want to
thought
say.
he was a hard-working player with the Devs.
Yes, he
when
was.
He was there.
And this is how fucking bad the Devils were the year that he was with us. Like, he was one of our best players. Like, when Jimmy Vesey is one of your best players, your team's fucking bad.
We've had that for a few years. That was that time period where those guys and I like Jordan Tutu, and I like those guys, but like that was our kind of star, I guess you would say, right?
So,
that was our,
you remember these guys that we brought in? We'd get like one free agent a year that was like a middling
couldn't get a contract
dude
somewhere else, or
right. I mean, I'll even put like
was a star, but now isn't quite like Mike Camilleri,
or like Blake Coleman.
I liked Camilleri. I liked Blake Coleman
too.
though. That hurt when Blake Coleman left.
Who out of all those, not if Nolan Foote works out, then you'll be very happy with it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Out of those kind of group of guys, is there anyone that you would say, I want them on my team now, this
Blake
year,
Coleman.
and this
Yeah,
level? You're going to go Blake Coleman?
Blake Coleman. I
Yeah,
loved
Blake
him. I thought
Coleman.
he was a
See,
heart and soul type of guy.
Blake Coleman
would
fits
go-
at Mercer and them guys. I think I could picture like he's totally
I
seems
agree.
like a Devil,
But mine is between Blake Coleman and Patty Maroon. I think I would go back with Patty Maroon.
Plus, if you got Patty Maroon, you might win a cup just because he's on your team. So
Yeah, it just follows him. I mean, 3 in a row, right? He won 3 cups in a row and made it to 4 finals in a row.
where's he at? Minnesota now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Help them
you,
out.
I think the Minnesota Wild are going to be very surprising to a lot of people out in the West this year. I really do. I think that they are a pretty decently put together team of hardworking guys, and I think that they can win those low scoring close games. They know how to win 2-1, 3-2, and I think they can upset a lot of people. I mean, people aren't really talking about them. They're talking about the Dallas, the LAs, the Colorados, the Vegas. I think watch out for Winnipeg.
Colorado.
I mean, not Winnipeg, fucking Minnesota.
I really think Colorado is going to be tough this year. I saw some. I was watching something with them the other day on one of these channels, and they have a good team. And they were good already, right? They were good, obviously, 2 seasons ago. Last year, they kind of had some issues, but I think Miles Wood's. Yeah. I think Miles Wood's going to be great there. I think under the right circumstances, he's a great plug-in.
Last year, it was injuries, and Seattle still took 7 games to beat them. I think that 2 years ago, we talked about it a little bit on the last show, that might have been one of the best Stanley Cup teams in the last 10 or 12 years that I've ever seen. I mean, they weren't just beating people in the playoffs, man. They were kicking everybody's ass.
Yeah.
It really had a feel from the start, like that they can win it. And it wasn't just, I'm following what everybody's saying. Like, it really was like a gut feeling. Like, this team just looks like they're going to be the last one standing.
There's quite a few teams out west, that you can see in the end, right? Vegas, you can't count them out. I mean, they won it all. Colorado, Dallas looks really good.
I think Seattle's going to step back a little bit. I know I said that already.
I don't know about that. That's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I hope not. I really do.
Not
I hope
guaranteed
they can
but I could picture them kind of come to reality a little bit.
You think that they played a little bit over their skis last year?
A little bit, yeah. I thought they were winning. They were winning games sometimes that they shouldn't have, but they were a good team. Don't get me wrong. I have no disrespect towards them.
I didn't see enough.
Picture them settling back a little bit.
I didn't see enough of them in the regular season to really make that. To make that connection. But in the playoffs, I thought they were very good. I watched all their games, and I thought they were really rock solid in the playoffs. But, I mean, it is possible. There are a lot of really good teams there. Again, if goaltending in LA holds up, watch out. The Kings are really deep, and they're pretty good. I don't know if their goaltending is going to hold up. And then you got some wild cards. Is Winnipeg really cooked if they don't get rid of Hollebuck and they keep Scheifele? Or is Calgary done? I don't think so. Is Minnesota going to make a push? And I think when it comes to the East, is there, like, to me, it's really a 3-team race. It's the Devils, it's the Canes, and the Leafs. I don't really see anyone else that can come out. I mean, I said that last year too, and look what Florida did. But I mean,
it's always, remember, there's always one surprise team.
We always have
one. Yep.
But I'm just saying that I don't see too much. Again, all things staying healthy, all teams staying healthy. I'm real curious to see what Toronto does this year. I mean, they're one of those teams. See, I feel like that Carolina and New Jersey are going to be really good. They're going to win a ton of games. They're going to be a really good regular season team. And Toronto should. But Toronto's always that team that you just never know. I mean, they can just be chasing it the whole friggin' year. So I don't know what to expect from Toronto. I do expect them to be very good, but I wouldn't put money on it. To me,
never know.
the two
Look
teams.
With Boston, right? You get fucking knocked out before you know it. It's like Boston had. I mean, who thought Boston was going to go down like that? I mean, it's just so weird in hockey playoffs.
Not only that, nobody thought they were going to go down like that. Nobody thought they were going to have the season that they had, which is even crazier. I mean, so that's the record, right? 135 points or whatever, right?
Ridiculous.
Do you think that record gets broken anytime soon, or is this a record that is not going to be broken for 10, 15, 20 years?
I mean, given the parity of the league, it wasn't ever supposed to happen like that to begin with, to get that many points. So I don't see it getting broken for a very long time. It's going to be one of those where it's a couple decades, so you think it's never going to happen, and then it happens. But we probably won't be alive to care.
I mean, it's crazy when you stop and think about
dead.
Yeah.
Depressing.
We're more than halfway there.
Now I'm fucking depressed. There's more days behind us than in front of us.
We got to hurry up and get those Stanley Cups.
Well, I told you guys, think about when the last time the Devils were good, right, for those cups. This is our last run, boys.
20 years, man.
Yeah.
20 years. We'll be fucking...
One of us or two of us may not be around in 20 years.
We were totally different people last time they won.
Pushing 70 and talking about the cups that we won 20 years ago. Well, they got to win them. But even Boston, you stop and look at this, right? They're fucking 135 points. And I'm the biggest one saying I don't know where Boston fits in this year. I don't know where they go. And then, I have to stop and say, even if they lost 25 points, they're still a 110-point team.
Yeah.
And 25 points is a lot to lose.
Yeah, sure is.
But I just still, unless they sure something up in the middle, I'm not buying Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle as your top two centers, and not in this league. I can't see it. I don't think they're going to be. I think, like I said, they're going to be able to score, guys like Pasternak and Marchand, and they have good defense and they have good goalie. But that's the other question mark. Linus Ullmark was always okay. Last year, he was outstanding. Does he come down to earth a little bit? Boston can't afford to have any of those things happen, or else they're just, I think they're not going to be in the playoffs. There's too many young teams coming in that I'm so excited to watch. I'm so excited to watch Ottawa this year. I'm so excited to watch Buffalo this year.
Be good.
I do too. Really too. A question mark there, Korpisalo. I don't know what to make of him. I everything I saw on Korpisalo, and I didn't watch him a lot, right? I liked him, but Columbus dumped him, and then the Kings dump him. Why is everyone dumping this dude? Why is he not a number one to some of these guys? That's the thing that I'm kind of curious about.
Got to be a reason. I think it's.
Yeah, it is weird, right? Because you think, no, I can't. The talent's there, but when you see this kind of trend, there is usually something behind that.
And do you
think
like
D'Angelo, right? D'Angelo can't stay on a team. He's like, I think he went to St. Louis, the Rangers.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think he has to. Why do these guys? For some reason, they can't stay on these teams.
Is Cam Talbot better than Korpisalo? I don't think so, but yet Los Angeles is running with Cam Talbot this year. So I don't know what to make of Korpisalo. It's going to be interesting to see. I think Buffalo is going to be really good, and I'm really excited to watch them this season. And there's a lot of teams out west that I'm really excited to see. I'm just hoping that this team can keep doing what they're doing right now, man. This is awesome to see, these first two games.
I'm trying to find this list that just came out today from ESPN. and it was, I forget what they did, but they put together a list of the best team in hockey over the next 3 years.
Okay.
And they looked at, I guess, a whole bunch of situations. They looked at like the team now, the prospect pool, and all that. So there's some certain teams that you think might be one of the legit contenders that weren't that high on the list because they got nothing in reserve. Anyway, I can't seem to find it, but they had yours truly ranked as number one projection over the next 3 years, just solid through and through, team, prospects, everything, followed by Carolina. And after that, I forget the list. I just saw those two. Thought it was a pretty interesting projection because, again, this is not a situation where we're all in with nothing left in the tank. We're all in with prospects galore.
Yeah,
we have so many options. And you know what?
I
know we can't speak to the minor leagues yet, but if you all recall what happened in 95 when we won the Cup and our AHL affiliate won the Calder Cup, sure, we're good for about 15 years after that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's important.
Look, they're deep. They're loaded, all four lines. There's no reason that, like last year, I get it. Everyone talks about it. It took everybody by surprise and this and that. That window last year was kicked open. I think that this team this year is such a different team. And not just with the players and the new players, like we talked, adding around the edges and some new guys in there. I just think the whole mental makeup of this team. Agreed. I think the belief that they're one of the best teams in the league right now is coursing through the whole locker room. I think last year it was, hey, this is a lot of fun, and let's just keep doing it and see where this thing goes.
It's infectious because when you got Jesper Bratt saying that in the locker room, this is what we've earned. This is what we want to be.
Right.
Yeah, it's just great. You're right. There's something about the makeup of this team now. They want to go out and prove it.
And how many times do you see in any sport? All right, and we'll wrap it up after this. But in any sport, when a team goes into quote unquote rebuild, right, and they tear everything down to the fucking studs, and then they rebuild, however the GM decides to do it, whether it's through a draft, whether it's through free agency, whether it's whatever, it doesn't work a lot. Teams get better, but sometimes if you fuck up that rebuild, you'll set your franchise back. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're right, though.
Yeah,
you'll set your franchise back 10 years. Now, Ray Sherrill started it. Fitzgerald came in, but they had especially Tom Fitzgerald, had a legitimate plan in place. That plan doesn't work. These players don't pan out. The guys that he got. We're not talking about this team at all as being a contender. But how often do you see it just not work? And it's so exciting when you can see a team. And I go back to like the Dallas Cowboys in the early 90s with Jimmy Johnson, right? When they just started building players. You had a young Troy Aikman won one game. Emmitt Smith was on that team. They weren't very good, but you saw potential. And you were like, if they could just put it together, they'd be great. And they did. And they won 3 Super Bowls. And I see this team is doing the same thing. I think that like you said, the confidence, the fact that they've earned it, they've been through this shit. Every major dude on this team has been on really shitty Devil teams. And they don't.
Deion Sanders now to, throw
what
Deion
was that?
Sanders. We should throw Deion Sanders on the team somehow.
I will take Deion Sanders. He's a hell of an athlete.
We've referenced on this show several times the parallels between like the Penguins turning around and the Blackhawks turning around, each with their multiple cup runs, and each set up in a very similar way with your 2 stud forwards that are different a little bit, except for maybe Crosby and Malkin. They're a little more close than, a Tames and Kane kind of situation or Nico and Jack. But just having that kind of dynamic duo, having the people on the back end, going through the tough years and really stocking up with all that talent, there is a blueprint there, and it's worked before. And it doesn't, it's going to be hard if 5 years from now we don't have any cups to show for it, because it is still freaking hard to win the goddamn cup.
It sure is.
Nearly impossible when you talk about all the other how good some of these teams are. But man, I've never seen anything like this work out the way it has. Like you mentioned, to every pick, every trade, it all seemed to work out and just bring us to this point with still more behind us.
Yeah. And who knows if they're going to win cups, if they, how many, if any, we don't know. But what I can bet money on and pretty much guarantee is that we are going to have really fun seasons to watch. We're going to be in the playoffs pretty much every year from here on out. It's just save that spot for New Jersey because they're going to be there. And go on some deep, fun runs. Whether or not they end in a cup, I don't know. I think we'll have a better idea of really this team as far as playoff ready after this season. Wherever it ends, we'll say, okay, if they make it to a conference final, they make it to a cup final, and they don't win it, you'll know. They have a lot more work to do, like we thought last year. We got done. Hey, it was a great year, but you had to be realist when you got done with that Carolina series and say they're nowhere near ready to compete at that level.
Right.
I think that this team I think they learned a lot. We talked a little bit about it last year. Was it enough to get to to take it up to that next level? And I'm just going by the few practices, there's one preseason night, and the quotes from the locker room and the interviews with the guys. They're ready. Like they expect to be there at the end. They want to be there at the end. Last year, it wasn't like that. It was, let's just try and string together good habits. Let's try and make sure that we're, not beating ourselves, and everything else will fall into place. Now it's just go out there and
there were so many people on the team, the kids that grew up, as they were getting better, always doing that. Okay, this is the year we take the step forward. That whole core is still there, and that whole core is saying, all right, done with that. It's win now. And then you supplant with some of those other trades and Foleys and stuff like that. And that's how championship teams are made. So
that's it.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Fun.
And on that note, we Tony, anything you want to add?
You guys know what Saturday is, right?
The 30th.
Get ready to hit your applause button. You ready? It's the Uncle Pucker's 100th episode. This Thursday will be 99 if you guys do one. And then Saturday will be 100.
You're right.
Sounds like a perfect segue to season 2.
Saturday, and I was going to start season 2 at the first game of the year, and just go do our seasons in conjunction with the hockey season. But episode 100 is pretty big. That's awesome. That we actually did, and maybe somebody will actually start listening to us, and that would be even better. But until then. So real quick, wherever you get your podcast, please 5-star review, give us a positive take, anything, download, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are actually going to have this up on video tonight. This will be the first time you get to see 3 of our 4 faces. By the way, I didn't even introduce. We're the Uncle Puckers, Bobby, Tony, and Chris. Dan's not here tonight. We will be back on Thursday after the Ranger game to do another show. That game is on MSG, so we will definitely be able to sit down, go over our takes on that, and talk about what we saw then. And that's about it. You guys have anything that you want to add?
Just good, man.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you when we see you.
Peace.
Later, bitches.